Are you thinking about homeschooling but you're just not sure where to start? Well, today I am going to share with you all about how to start homeschooling. So be sure you stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna and I am a mom of four, homeschooling, homemaking. And if you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe, and also go ahead and give this video a thumbs up for me. That will help me so much. Now, let's get on with our video. Let's talk about how to start homeschooling. This is the number one question I get all of the time on here and over on Instagram. Everybody wants to know, how do I even start? What is the first steps that I even take if I'm even considering the idea of homeschools? So the first thing I would recommend you do is pray about it and also figure out your why. So it is so important with all things to go to the Lord in prayer about it and just be sure that you are within His will, that you have a peace about it. So that's the first thing I did for probably, honestly, like 3 or 4 years before we started homeschooling. I was praying and praying and praying about it. And a lot of you guys know that we had our first son in like a Christian school till first grade. And that whole entire time I was praying about, Lord, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to homeschool? And my heart was always that if the Lord called me to it, I would be obedient and I would do it. But I never really wanted to. That was always kind of my prayer, is like, God, I really don't want to homeschool, but if that is your will, if that is what you want, I'll do it. And finally, after years and years of praying, He finally was like, yeah, you need to do it. And I was like, but I don't want to. And He was like, but you're going to do it. And I'm so glad I obeyed. I'm so glad I listened to His voice, and we took that step of faith and we started doing it, because it has been the greatest blessing to our family. But also, in addition to that, figure out your why behind it. Why do you want to do it? Are you concerned about character development with your child? Are you more concerned about educational development? Just kind of figure out what your purpose is behind it. For us, we really wanted to instill godly character in our children, and so we have always been like character driven. We want to raise strong men and women for Christ, and also I want them to be smart kids. I want them to know about the world and about things, and I want to control what they learn and when they learn it. So that was kind of our big whys behind homeschooling. But also, I want to make sure that you know, Mama, that you can do this. No one in this world is more qualified to teach your children than you. Why? Because you're their mother and you are who God has called to raise those children up. So no one knows how they learn better than you. No one knows their heart better than you and the Lord. No one knows your child better than you. So of course you would be the one that would be able to teach them the best. And you really have been doing it since they were born. You've been teaching them how to sleep. You've been teaching them how to eat, how to use the potty. Everything that they know, everything that they are, is because of your teaching and your training. So you've done a really good job up until this point. So why not continue that in their education? You can do it. That is the thing that holds most moms back, I feel like, is because they just don't have the confidence. And that was one of my issues too. I was just like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have enough patience. I don't know if I can be around my kids that long during the day. I feel like I might lose my mind. Those were all like my concerns. But you just have to finally get to the place where you're like, no, I can do this. The Lord will equip me, because if He calls you to it, He will equip you to do it. You've got to remember that. Number 2 is research your state laws. And I have an awesome website that I'll link below. HSLDA is a great place to figure out your state laws. You can search by state, and it really breaks it down and tells you exactly what you need. So we are in South Carolina. We homeschool here. And I would say if there was like a bar of like really strict laws and then really lenient laws, South Carolina falls probably like about here. So they're a little bit strict, but they're not like as strict as some states. But they're also not as lenient as like Texas. We have 3 options to homeschool here in South Carolina, and we do option 3. So we have to be a part of a homeschool association. So we have to send in some paperwork to them, and we have to kind of be under them and make sure that we're checking off all our boxes. And it's also great because they send us out reminders for things, and it's also not very expensive to be a part of. So the laws in South Carolina, if you're doing the number number 3 option is you have to be a part of an association. You have to at least have your high school diploma or GED. You have to teach them for 180 days. You have to include reading, writing, math, science, social studies, and for grades 7 through 12, they also have to have composition and literature. And we also have to keep a record of everything we teach them. So I just use my homeschool planner to keep track of all that. And we have to keep samples of their work. And we also have to have like a progress report that includes attendance. So we have a good many things that we kind of have to keep track of. But once you get like an easy system, it's pretty easy to keep track of after that. Now, if you're in somewhere like Texas, you've got it easy. Texas, they literally, all they have to do is teach math, reading, spelling, grammar, a course in good citizenship, which is awesome, and they have to use a curriculum. That is literally all it says. So it really just depends on what state you're in. So definitely check out your homeschool laws before you get started. The third thing I would highly recommend is ask another homeschool mom for help. Someone who is a homeschool veteran, who's been doing this a long time, who knows how to do it, who you can see fruit from her kids, see that her kids have been well trained and well educated, and get with her. Grab onto her and say, help me, girl. And I promise you, she's gonna wanna help you, because us homeschool moms, that is like our favorite thing, to help other homeschool moms get started. So don't feel like that you're gonna bother her or be a nuisance. She wants to help you, trust me. So reach out to another homeschool mom. That is what I did when I first started. I am very blessed because I have a huge family that all homeschool. So I have my sister, I have 2 sister-in-laws that homeschool. My mom homeschooled us, so I had a lot of people to ask. But the first thing I did, really, I think even before I researched the laws, is I called my sister and I sat down with her over coffee, and we sat there for hours. I think my mom was also there. And I was like, just tell me everything. Tell me everything you know. I want to know it all. Then later, a couple of more months after that, I sat down with her and I said, tell me all the curriculum that I need. I'm just going to do whatever you tell me to do. And that is what we did for our first year. She actually had a lot of books she just gave me, so I didn't have to purchase a lot, but she just told me everything to do, and I did exactly what she told me to do. And we had a great first year, and it took a lot of the pressure off, because I was like, okay, she's done all this. I know it works. I know it's good. And then once we started to do it a while, and I started to learn my kids, like how they learned and what we liked and didn't like, then I was able to figure out a better curriculum that I liked better as the years went on. But it's just so important to build a community of women who can surround you and that are homeschooling with you. So find a few in your area if you're starting out. That's also another thing that I did when I first started. There was a couple of other moms that I knew that were also starting, and so we just kind of all linked arms and did it together. We planned like some field trips together, and we were just a support system for each other, and that was really, really helpful. I didn't join a co-op my first several years, and I'm really glad I didn't, because I feel like it would have been too much at one time. And that's why I didn't. I kind of wanted a little while to kind of get my feet wet, figure everything out, and then I would join a homeschool community like a co-op later on, which we now do and we love. So that would be my recommendation. Maybe not start anything like that right off the bat, but I feel like if you really, really wanted to, it would be fine. But just maybe think about that before you just join everything and sign up for everything. Take it slow. Start with just homeschooling at home, and then maybe add extra curriculars and groups later down the road. Number 4 is figure out your child's learning style. Are they visual learners? Are they kinesthetic learners? Are they auditory learners? Figure out exactly how your child learns the best, and then you'll be able to better choose like a curriculum and a style of homeschool. I have one child that is very much a kinesthetic learner. He is very physical. He loves to be moving and going, so I knew that I needed a curriculum that was going to work well with him, because he's just not a child that likes to sit still, and he doesn't love to learn. So I knew that I would have a little bit of a challenge with him trying to get him to sit still and learn. So we chose The Good and the Beautiful for him, and the awesome thing about that curriculum, and I'll talk more about it in a minute, but they do have options for different types of learners, and just different ways that you can teach them things and suggestions for that. So I love that about that curriculum. Talk more about that in a minute. But it is important to kind of know that, but it's not like an end all or be all. So if you don't exactly know how your child learns the best, then just go with a curriculum and learn as you go. And next year, you'll know better how they learn and you'll be able to adjust things as you go. Don't stress out about that too much. Also, a lot of people would recommend to figure out your homeschool style, a homeschool method. And to me, that's never been that important. We are not like hardcore Charlotte Mason or traditional or Montessori. We are kind of eclectic. We kind of do a little bit of everything. And I feel like you can learn and grow in that as you progress in your journey of homeschool. So don't stress out about that either. I feel like those two things honestly are not a huge deal. What you want to make sure that you have is a good curriculum. You don't really have to stress about like exactly what method you're going to do. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there in case you were like, do I need to know my homeschool method? I don't think I even knew about the different methods or even figured out what mine was until probably like year 2 or 3. So don't stress about that. Number 5, my favorite thing, choose a curriculum. And this is always the fun part. And it's also very overwhelming when you first start because there are a million options out there. So don't get stressed out about it. My recommendation to you would be to start with the good and the beautiful. I wish someone would have told me that from the beginning because y'all, you know, I say it all the time, that curriculum has been life-changing for me. And every person that I know that has ever tried it has said exactly the same thing. I've never met anybody that was like, oh, that curriculum didn't work for me. It's wonderful, but the best part about it is it's so affordable. A lot of their curriculums are even free. I know that their marine biology science unit is free, and I believe all of the language arts from for mostly elementary school, I believe, is all free, a free digital download. So just keep that in mind. You could print it out all free, try it for a couple of weeks, see if you like it. And if you do, you could buy the physical copy of it. And if you don't, you could move on to something else. But I just feel like it is such an amazing value. It's just a beautiful curriculum. It works well with so many different learning styles, and it's Christian based, which I absolutely love. Now, there are a few other good options, and we have done a lot of these. When Gabe was in first grade at his Christian school, and then our first year, we did a lot of Abeka. We did a lot of Christian Light. We did some Bob Jones. All of those are really, really good options as well. Christian Light is really, really affordable. Abeka and Bob Jones are a little bit more expensive, but they're really good curriculums. Keep in mind with the good and the beautiful, it is grab and go, meaning it tells you exactly what to do. And you don't have to have a teacher's guide that goes with it and this and that. You can open it up to the lesson they're on and it says, read this to the child. And you read that and it says, let the child do this by themselves, and they do that. So it is literally the easiest thing. So that's why I highly recommend it to people just starting out, because it is just so easy to do. Number 6 would be read a book about homeschooling. I read several books when I first started and they ministered to my heart so much. They were such an encouragement to me, and I am going to need to go back and read them again because I just enjoyed them so much. But a few of them were Teaching from Rest and The Call of the Wild and Free. Some other good ones that were recommended to me that I haven't read yet are Education, Does God Have an Opinion?, A Well-Trained Mind, Hold On to Your Kids, and Dumbing Us Down. Those are all really, really good ones. Now, I'll link all of these in the description box so that you know who wrote them and all of that. But it's always a really good idea to read a book about it. And these are just all really encouraging and informative. My absolute favorite one is the Teaching from Rest one. That one will minister to your mama heart so much. So definitely be sure you get that one. And I think I got it on Audible, so I just listened to it. Now, number 7 is plan out your school year and get some kind of schedule. I did a whole video about this recently, so if you want to check that out, I'm going to link it right here for you. But that one will kind of tell you exactly how I plan everything weekly, monthly, and yearly, and I really break it down for y'all. But again, don't stress about this part, especially if you are going to be using the good and the beautiful, because you can literally just go lesson by lesson by lesson. And you really don't have to lesson plan or pre-plan your year. You probably do want to at least figure out how you can get your 180 days in, where you're going to take your breaks. That is helpful to have on your calendar. And the last one, number 8, just relax and enjoy your homeschool journey. It is going to be a beautiful precious time, and I promise you, you are going to build the most amazing relationships and have the most wonderful year with your kids that you have ever had. Now, there are going to be a lot of hard days, a lot of days you might want to quit, a lot of days where you're questioning every choice you've ever made, but I promise you that at the end of the day, or maybe it might be the end of the week, you will be so glad that you did it. And when you start seeing that fruit from your child, maybe they're reading really well or they're just really excited about books or geography, you're going to be so proud of yourself, and you are going to be so proud of your decision to homeschool. Because I promise you, if you will stick with this, if you will take it day by day and give yourself a lot of grace, you're going to see the fruit of it, and you're going to be so glad that you did this. I've never met one homeschool mom in my entire life, and I've met a lot of them, that ever said, I wish I wouldn't have done it. They all say it was the best decision they've ever made. So go in encouragement with that. And very soon, I'm also going to come out with a video of things that I wish I would have known before homeschooling. So keep an eye out for that. That will be coming soon. And be sure that you like this video, give it a thumbs up before you leave, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this was an encouragement to you, and I hope you learned some things. I'll see y'all again really soon. Bye, y'all.